Hey guys, what's up? I am here and I am on time. Uh, it's weird. It's like dark outside. So, uh, ow. Okay. How's everyone doing on your weekend? Hopefully it is bomb. Just waiting for a few more people to gather in. I mean, six is great, but let's see. Kian, what's up? Jet, what's up? Katie, Ian, Maya, Beck, Gibran, Max, Aries Sun, Leo Rising, Ben, um, Calvin. Calvin is driving through a tornado right now, but he is still here. That is dedication. What is up, everybody? Kristen, Mark, what's up? AJ, Jacob. Okay, so it's funny. So my title is I Need Help. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask anyone for money. If you were afraid of that, don't worry. I have no pitches or I'm not sharing a GoFundMe or anything like that. Um, what I need your help with is a decision. So if you're on my Patreon, you already know what I'm going to talk about basically because I posted about it earlier today. Um, just because I needed an outlet. I needed someone to tell or talk to. So thanks to those of you who are patrons and you read this already or gave your insight or advice or whatever. Um, so yeah, let's see. Okay, so where I'm gonna start. Let's just go with this. Okay. So Friday. Well, basically the past couple weeks, surgery's been approaching. I've legit just been like um very unsure once again if I wanted to go through with surgery. Just because, the last time it was temporarily helpful. Um, the procedure that they did when they put the fat underneath the graft and like, yeah, temporarily it was helpful, but then the fat dissolved. So like um distractions. All right. So the fat dissolved and then my arm got tight again, especially around my wrist. And the reason that my graft bothers me so much is because I'm so active. I lift a lot. So basically all around my wrist like this, right on here, it acts like a tourniquet. When I'm lifting or basically back and bicep day are the worst. So if I'm like hanging on to something, it just like my circulation gets basically cut off. You can kind of see it even just making a fist, um, especially with like bicep curls. Um, when I have weight in my hand and I'm curling like this, it's like really, really, really tight. Uh, and it's really uncomfortable, especially as I get warm or even in the summer months. My hand tends to swell, so there's not a lot of space for the skin to stretch, especially when I'm lifting. So I've started to get some pain in the back of my hand, like right here when I'm doing curls, and it's like really sharp pain. So obviously that is noticeable and it's annoying and it's uncomfortable. Just in general, it's very tight and not very fun. So, anyways, I've had a few attempts of fat grafting, basically trying to fix it, having some of my scar removed since it's so high up on my wrist. And I emailed Dr. Lin. I'll go into like the details a little bit more of things if you guys have questions, but I emailed Dr. Lin and I had questions basically of like, what are the chances that this is going to be beneficial in the long run? Because I was kind of just wanting to be like, give me an answer of like, tell me how little bit this might benefit me, and then I'll just cancel. I was just like, is there a point to this? Is it just going to dissolve like it did last time? Should I just, accept it how it is and just deal with it? Like, is there any hope? Is basically what I asked him. And so he wrote me back, and I'll read you what he said just so you kind of get an idea of more of what I'm talking about. So I asked him how long I'd be out of the gym, and he said, I think we'd probably stick with avoiding aerobic exercise, breaking a sweat for 3 to 4 weeks like last time. I did not listen to that. Yeah, it was fine. Anyways, 2 weeks is what he basically told me until I could start lifting again. So 2 weeks is what I waited. I just started lifting. Um, I couldn't really run because of my knee at the time, I don't think. So, but yeah. Anyways, number two. So this is where it gets a little hairy in my decision making, and I don't know what to do. So he said, it's hard to predict how much improvement we'll be able to get, but I think both of us aren't super satisfied with our results so far. If you think our previous skin graft, excision, and fat grafting helped noticeably, then I think we can do the same thing again. But if you don't think it helped much, then it might be time to explore other options. I've been doing some thinking, and a more aggressive option would be to excise the thick sheet of scar, Integra, in parentheses, and skin graft, and then redo the skin graft from your thigh. This would obviously be a bigger surgery and would have a longer healing time since it would be a fresh skin graft. But the upside would be that we would eliminate the thick rind of scar tissue that I think is the underlying problem. We wouldn't have to do the whole forearm. Perhaps we could start with an inch or two strip around your wrist, since that's the tightest, and see if that helps. I think we can only make we can only make I can't say this word. We can only make so many basically revisions with the existing scar to make it better. Perhaps we have to start with a clean slate and cut out the scarring. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee that it would be better, but I don't think it would be tighter than your current forearm wrist. I'm happy to discuss more on the phone, since I'm sure this raises many questions. Moving on, he just says, let me know what you think. We can chat more. We can change plans, or we can delay. I want you to be 100% on board with our plan. I also want to figure out how to fully correct your forearm, because this seems to be more and more common. So, yeah, in a nutshell, he wants to give me a few options of cutting out the scar completely, doing a complete redo of it with another graft from my leg, which they did stage 1 already. Or he says we could start with just the strip around the wrist, since that's the part that's like acting like a tourniquet, basically. Yeah, so decisions. Here is where my mind is at currently. I'm thinking, one, if I'm going to, okay, so one, I think about, let's say I have the graft completely redone. The benefits to this are potentially it could probably look better, because I also have some discoloration that he also thinks is due to the Integra. Generally, it fades more. My arm is still quite dark or just discolored. You can see some maybe not. The lighting's weird. Okay, so you can see some lighter spots. That's kind of basically how it's supposed to all fade out. But I have some, it's mostly just like the darker color. So potentially I could have a better looking scar. The Monkey Clinic does a really good job with scars. Calvin, who is on here, and then also my roommate had the Monkey Clinic, and their arms both look amazing. So like, yeah, cool, that would be great. But also, if it helps, like not having the Integra, not having the thick scar tissue due to them taking a thicker graft from my leg, because the last time I had the graft from my leg, it was pretty thin. And when they take it too thin of a graft, it tends to shrink up as it heals. So that makes it tighter. So yeah, if they take a thicker graft, there's less for it to shrink up as it heals. Also, I do have part of my graft right here that didn't take. So all the skin around it had to shrink up around that. So that gave me even more like tightness. Um, what else? I will show you the questions that I asked him. But okay, so if we start with just the strips, my main concern would be that I went for that. The recovery probably isn't like a whole lot or a whole much less, I would assume, because it still can't bend your wrist. It's around your wrist. This is the part that he wants to take. So, like, why not go for it all? That's what I'm thinking. Um, and also, I will have like very noticeable scar differences. So I feel like it might look more fucked up if I just do the strips around my wrist, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of just like, if I'm going to go for any of this, I feel like I would just go for it all with the potential of having a better looking graft, really. Um, and the shitty part is he can't guarantee that it would be better. So, yeah. So I'm kind of leaning on the side of either go for it or run away, run away in the other direction and leave it as is, because with all surgeries, there comes risks. So, of course, I asked him my risks. I will, I'm just going to read off the questions that I asked him just so, okay. So the questions I asked him were: if you redid the whole graft, how long would recovery be? Would I need hand therapy? Would it require a hospital stay, or would it still be outpatient? Would you take a thicker graft from my thigh? Could this potentially cause more nerve issues? My biggest fear is to lose more feeling in my hand or have the palm go numb. Literally, that's my worst nightmare. I can't even imagine. Um, could this potentially Oh, wait. Would there be potential for my hand swelling to get worse in the long run, or do you think this would improve? And then I basically was just going over my questions for just the strip part of doing the redoing the graft, and I was just like, wait, it's the same questions. So those are basically my questions. I am basically terrified that it would be worse um, as far as nerve issue goes, because obviously the first time they took the graft, my whole thumb went numb. Well, not on the inside, but on the outside. So obviously, I know he would be extra careful about that, but you just never know. The plus side too is that this side of the graft, he hasn't really wanted to touch because it does get a little bit dangerous in the palm side of your hand when it comes to nerves. Um, but this is actually one of my main issues is the underside of my palm right here. So as much as he can keep taking this side down, this side is really thick. It didn't heal very well. It crinkled up. You can't really see it because the light is ridiculous. Okay, do you see how that is? This is all really thick scarring, um, and it's really really bothersome. So new graft potentially, if it heals properly, could help. However, that is a fuck ton of recovery to go through again. Um, yeah, it was a lot, and I'm assuming there would be a hospital stay because all I can imagine is like having the wound vac, unless they like sent me home with a wound vac. But that's I mean that's fine, but weird. Um, but it's a big piece of skin, so okay. Yeah. So, other downside, if I have this surgery, there is a very, very much a likelihood that it is not going to allow me to compete in 2020. It's just too much. Something's got to give. It would have to be one or the other because there just would not be enough time with recovery, all the muscle that's lost. I remember how much muscle I lost after stage one phalloplasty, especially in my left arm because I couldn't do anything with it. Um, so it just wouldn't give me enough time to rebuild whatever I would have lost and then diet down, and would not it just would not work. It would have to be at least like another year. And I've already like made it official that I was going to compete in 2020. So part of me is just like, yeah, like fuck this. This is totally screwing with my plans. But also because we have the best medical system ever, I've already met my insurance deductible. So this is my sense of urgency. If I do this surgery next year, it's going to cost me at least, at the least, $2,600. That's if my insurance stays the same. It could end up costing me more if my out of pocket max goes up. Premiums always go up every year. So fuck, like honestly, I was kind of hoping that if I got the majority of what I needed to get done this year, I could actually get a cheaper insurance because I wouldn't need it for the surgeries. So yeah, this is it's quite a bit of decision making. Um, when I think of the possible complications, I want to run in the other direction. And when I think of the recovery, I want to run in the other direction. I know that I need to think long term, but there's not even a guarantee that it's going to help. So that's where I get caught up. Uh, if it's not going to help, and I went through all that shit again for the second time, I'm gonna be pissed. um, yeah, I will not be a happy camper because I do not want to go through that again for nothing. Um, and I really want to just get back to my life, and I really, really want to compete. Like I've already said I was going to, and I've already got my heart set on that. So it's throwing me off a lot. And I'm not, like my last knee surgery, it took a lot out of me emotionally. Um, I'm not in like, I feel like I'm not in the best place to be handling something um, so intense. So that's like another thing to take in consideration is the mental emotional impact, the emotional cost of having everything redone. Are there things that I could do to make it through, to set myself up to make it through, to have potentially more comfortable or less discomfort working out and then getting on with my life afterwards? Probably. Um, but it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean it's still recovery. It's still tough recovery. It's still pain. It's still going under the knife. It's still drugs, getting drugs out of your system, um, loneliness, feeling isolated. Those are all part of surgery. Recovery is the loneliest thing that you can ever go through. Time and time and again and again and again. I'm tired. I am so tired. So I don't know. Like I've done it a lot. I've always gotten through it. This is probably the first time I'm like doubting my ability to actually get through it with my sanity intact. Like I almost lost it the last time. I'm not even joking you. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna read some of your questions. I'm not gonna scroll back. So if you asked a question previously, just ask it again. So I'll just be kind of like starting here. Let's see. So far, everyone's just being very kind. So thank you. um, let's see. Jacob, it's easy for us to say push a surgery, but honestly, I wouldn't want you to have any nerve damage. I don't want you to have the pain you have now, but it would be awful for you to go through all this. Yeah. Um, I'm honestly, I've not made a decision either way. I'm waiting for my surgeon to get back to me. Um, I feel like I need a little bit more reassurance before I make any sort of decisions. And I also don't know. Okay, so if I have the graft all redone, I don't know if it would end up being pushed back or not, or if this is something that would be happening like a week and a half from now, um, because if I have to stay in hospital, he would need to. I'm having it done at the Bunkie Clinic Surgery Center, but I'm wondering if it would have to be across the street at CPMC. It's literally like, okay, this is the Bunkie Clinic Surgery Center. This is CPMC Hospital. They're like right next to each other. Like, can you just like roll me from this place over to the hospital? um, but yeah, I don't know if they would have to like push back the date if I went for the all or nothing approach, or what would happen, or they can just schedule things that close. I don't know. Um, Katie. Oh, thanks. Mindy, can what you have now get better? Can it heal more? Unfortunately, I think I have exhausted um, what they can actually do for my arm now, because fat grafting is kind of temporary. It dissolves and then it just goes back to where it is. Um, you have to do what is best for you. And if you want your I know you want your arm fixed. If I could fly out there, I would keep you laughing. Oh, well, we can just like troll activist mommy the whole time I'm recovering. Maybe that will help. um, have I thought about going to therapy for these issues? Talking out with unbiased person. Yeah, I have therapists. I did email her. Um, I haven't heard back from her yet, and I don't talk to her again till Monday, I think. So that's why I was just like, all right, Patreon, here we go, because no one else, I have no one else to tell this to right now. So yeah. Flip a coin and pay attention to your initial feeling. When you see what came up, if it was a yes, then there's your true feelings. If you initially feel no, then there's, yeah, I thought about flipping a coin. Should I just do that right now? I got a coin. Maybe I'll make my decision here live on YouTube. um, you have to go do homework, but you're reading for me. Oh, thanks, Ben. Have fun with your homework. um, if you aren't sure, you should make a list of the pros and cons of both, then decide. Only you can make a final decision. What's more important to you is for you. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. It's hard. I don't know. Like, there's a few things that I can think about. If I take away um, that the fact that I already was like set on competing, like if I say, oh yeah, I'm not competing this year, that would take like it would still take a lot of emotional and mental energy out of me, but it wouldn't upset me as much. Like, of course, I don't like being out of the gym. I don't like, my life being disrupted, but I'm focusing a lot on the fact that I wanted to compete and I already like put that in stone. I don't like to divert from plans after I've made them. um, so I'm trying to like think if me being stuck on that is what is causing a lot of my anxiety, or if it's just the fact that I'm so fucking over surgery, or if it's a combination of both. Um, but I know that I need to figure out what is the best for me in the long run. I need to think of the long run. Um, but that's really hard to do right now. um, Shave my head first before surgery. Honestly, I probably will. Because, okay, the thing is, every time I go in for surgery, I never end up getting a haircut for like 3 months later. And it's just annoying and it gets greasy and it's gross because you can't like shower very well, especially with one hand after surgery. So I might as well just get rid of it. Um, Kian. I know and understand you want to get back to bodybuilding, but financially it would be a really good move. Bodybuilding is important, but it will still be there. You have Monkey Clinic. Ugh, yeah, true. It's like financial reasons. Um, it is the most convenient financially as it is right this moment. It won't be as convenient financially somewhere else down the road. Um, but oh man, my mental health though. I feel like I just did this. I feel like I just went through a intense surgery, so I'm just kind of like, oh Lord, can I do this? How much are you able to move your wrist right now by chance? I can move my wrist. Like I have full mobility. I just like it's uncomfortable. Um, it's really, really tight, especially right in here. And right here because it's literally just attached to bone. Let me show you like people probably who don't have skin grafts don't really understand how it feels so tight if you're getting phalloplasty. But listen to this very closely. Doctors, they don't go into much detail. They tend to kind of gloss over the whole skin graft area. So when they take the graft from your arm, you have like a little bit of fat under here, right? They take that with your arm, like creating your phallus. They take that. I don't have a lot, um, but that is why they used Alloderm to also put in my phallus, so it, wouldn't be completely nothing. Um, so your skin moves around. See, like that. It allows for your skin to roll over your muscle. Um, it allows for all types of movement with no restriction. But when it comes to skin graft, like, yeah, I can do that, but like it doesn't move. There's no like the idea of this in comparison to that, that's what's so uncomfortable. Um, it is literally, it feels like you have an ace bandage around your arm 24/7, or duct tape, or whatever helps you visualize or, you know, get a feeling for how it feels. Um, if you're getting phalloplasty, you should probably just like duct tape your arm for a week and see if see if you enjoy that. I don't know. But like a few things that they could have done differently is not take it up so high on my wrist. Generally, the people who I've seen come out of the Monkey Clinic now, like their graft is like lower. You see how they went all the way up to my hand? Now it's usually like right there at least, which is helpful because like bending your wrist when it's at the crease like that is really tough. It is not fun. So just taking it down, even a little bit, like losing just a slight bit of length on your penis, totally worth it. I promise you. So, yes, I wish they would have taken it a little bit further down. Also, issue number two, Integra. Integra was not used properly. It's not Integra itself, it's how they used it. Generally, when they put Integra, they put it on a few weeks before they lay this layer of skin over the Integra. With my surgeon, he put the Integra down and just slapped the skin on top of it the same day, like one right after another. It's not how it's supposed to be used. Um, so the surgeon I have now thinks that that's what like made it extra thick and more adhered to my muscle because of how they used it. So those are the mistakes that he wants to correct. That's why he wants to start over because he thinks that he can give me a less stiff, thick graft. Yeah. Back to questions. um, would I be a better competitor if I did have the surgery because it's paid for already? Potentially, I mean, yeah, because I could work out with less discomfort. Could they redo the whole graft? Take another graft? Yeah, that's the plan. Integra is actually shark cartilage, I believe. Um, it's very strange, but it's they put it over they put it over my arm to like create less of a divot, but yeah, they use it for other things besides like valvoplasty and stuff like that. I think they use it a lot in plastic surgery, but in this situation, they just didn't use it properly. It's not a bad thing. It's just how they used it. That's something that keep in mind. um, I wish when they messed up like that, they could do it for free for you. I know. Well, it's kind of free. No, it's not really. I've been paying this whole year of insurance and already paid my out of pocket max. So, not free, but more free if I do it now than if I do it next year. So if you're getting this right, without the surgery, you can't compete, but you can still work out. No, if I go without the surgery, I can still compete for sure. I'll just be dealing with a lot more discomfort on like a daily basis. Um, so yeah, that's why there's still part of my brain that's like, you know what, I'll just fucking deal with it and I'll just compete and whatever. You know what? I'll deal. But like part of me is like thinking I'll always wonder, should I have done it? Could my arm feel better? Maybe I could just not be dealing with this discomfort right now. But to an extent, I know that it's always going to be tight and it's always going to be uncomfortable to a certain extent. It's never going to be the same. Um, so, how much of it is, do I just need to accept this? How much of it is fixable? Jed. I thank you. um, Can not having the surgery eventually affect your overall quality of life 10 to 20 years from now down the road? I mean, yeah, one thing that I have to ask Dr. Lin. So, one thing I've noticed is that, you know, how not flexible, how not mobile this is? I'm actually wondering if my forearms get bigger, if that is going to cause more tightness, or if this skin has any ability to expand at all. Um, just because I've noticed like more tightness right in here, and I'm wondering if that has to do with forearm growth because I've been working out my upper body, uh, you know, like every day since my knee surgery. So I'm just kind of like, okay, if I've got like some forearm growth, like I don't know if you can notice me just flexing my arm like that, like I've got that divot in comparison. So could that also be leading to the tightness? um, do what's best for your mental and physical health. What is best for you in the long run? We can advise, but we cannot possibly put ourselves in your shoes. Don't rush whilst you are so conflicted. Yeah. Um, in the long run, the potential for it to be better for me is there. Um, but there's also potential for it to not be better. And it's a lot to go through. So I keep going. Hold on. Let me mute my. Don't ever do group texting. It's. uh, sorry. Okay. We all good now. Um, Terry C. Hey, you finally made one. What's up? Do I still get my period as a post-op trans man? That would be a no. Lady Maverick, while you're battling your mental health, all this, remember you have an army of people standing behind you to get through no matter what. Surgery of any kind sucks. 9 abdominal here. Oh man. 9 abdominal. That sucks. And yes, so you probably understand the struggle for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, we shall do a poll to see what the chat thinks. Let's see. That divot seems to be in muscle, so that's odd when it was just skin taken correct, or is the skin so tight it won't allow the muscle to grow there? Yeah, so the skin is so tight that it's not that it doesn't allow for the muscle, but it doesn't allow for the skin to move. So it's stuck. So this is moving, this is not. This does not move, this moves. So it's just stuck. It's like having a tourniquet around your arm. Let's see. What about this new surgeon? Do you think he'll be able to fix it? It sounds like it would be a good idea because you're going to get bigger muscles. It sounds like it was if it was success. I don't know that I'll get like bigger muscles. I think there's still a lot that I need to talk to him about. So he did say we could talk over the phones. I'm kind of just waiting for next week to talk to him and get some of my questions answered. But it's been a lot to process for sure. Yeah, like I said, I have this part of my brain that's like thinking about another surgery, especially this one intense. Like I was expecting a small surgery, and I was still afraid of even just a small surgery because of how hard the last one was, and I was thinking about canceling if there wasn't enough benefit that was going to be coming from it. Um, but now this is just a whole new thing that's been thrown at me, and I don't know how to respond to it. Like, could the benefit be uh, more? Yes, potentially more than just what I was going to originally have done, but it's a lot more intense. So shit. um, would they give you extra skin if they did the surgery so you can move your forearm skin easier? That's a good question. I even was trying to think in my head of how that would work today. um, but I don't think so because it's a really big open wound. So when they peel back um, this scar, they just have to put the skin over it so that it fits directly over it and heals properly. But if they put extra skin, it's just going to like basically crumple up, kind of like how it did up here. Um, so that's yeah, not something I do wonder. So like this bridge right here is normal skin. Um, sometimes I look at my arm like I wonder if they could like cut this out and give me like stretch this out a little. I don't know. I would like to just get rid of it. Um, your boyfriend had bottom surgery, and the second surgery he had, they accidentally cut a vein. He almost died. I'm so nervous if he redoes it. Is there any way to ease my fear about getting the surgery? Um, generally complications like that are pretty rare. So, like having anything like that happen again is also going to be rare. But like with any surgery comes the possibility of complication. So that's just always something to think about. And like shit happens sometimes, and sometimes well, more times than not, like things are totally fine. Uh, Sometimes you just get like the shit end of the deal. But um, yeah, since those kinds of things are on the rarer side, generally it's not going to be happening again. So you can maybe just think of it this way, and the fact of like, okay, that happened last time, but statistically speaking, that won't happen next time. That's like the only way that I could think of it. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, Nick, I'm gonna address what you're saying. I was skipping it over as I was talking. But when you're talking about pictures that people have posted on the internet, you probably don't want to describe them in the way that you're describing them because you never know whose those are. Um, there's real people attached to those pictures. I know from personal experience. If someone was describing my body or my results that way, I would probably feel really shitty. Um, so basically, like, I get what you're saying in that I get everything you're saying, but you just might want to be careful about how you talk about it in that sense. Mark, so this isn't ALT. um, so you know how they take a graft from your leg in stage one phalloplasty? It's the same exact thing. They're not taking the fat with it. They're just taking a layer of skin. Um, it will heal up and eventually fade into basically nothingness. But it's like road rash. You're gonna have a road rash leg again for a bit. Jet, thank you. I appreciate that. And Jacob, thank you as well. I appreciate it. Anyways, okay. So just for funsies, I'm gonna flip a coin. um, let's pretend that I'm gonna make a decision right now based on this coin toss. My dog is wanting to come in here. Um, so let's go with heads is no, and tails is surgery. So let's do this. I got tails. Surgery it is. Um, if only it was that simple. Um, but yeah. Anyways, all right. You guys want to see the dog? All right, hold on. Come here. Hi. Ugh. Ugh. There's doggy. Hi. Who this? For anyone wondering, she is a mutt. She is Chihuahua. She acts like a Chihuahua a lot. She is Jack Russell, possibly some wiener dog in there because she's long and short-legged. But yeah, she's crazy. Yep. Anyways, I will end it now. Thank you, everyone who came and listened to me jabber on about my indecisiveness. I have some thinking to do. I'll keep you updated depending on what Dr. Lin responds. And yeah, thanks all for joining in today. I will see you next week. Peace out.